All right, and we're live. Hey guys, this is Kev. All the everyone is gonna view this. This is BMBBH panel channel. I am one third of the habitual line steppers, along with the Roger Report. You ain't shit for watching. Thanks for joining us. For those of you out there, and thank also thank extend a thank you to the panel. We have the Roger Report. If you can introduce yourself, sir.
Hello, folks. This is Roger Stevens of the Roger Report. I'm on ready to get it in. Please check out the channel, subscribe, like. I deal with good content, serious content, and I'm willing to say what y'all won't say, but ain't willing to say yourself. So just contact me and let me know what you got a problem with, and I'll handle it. So that's what it is. Get at me.
All right, and second, we've got Judge Dre joining us tonight. Say hello, sir.
How you doing out there, fam? This is Judge Dre. They call me Judge Dre because I look at the coin. I look at both sides of the coin before I form an opinion.
All right, here comes the judge, and also we have Mr. Donnie Cassanova, host of his YouTube channel. You ain't shit for watching. Say hello, Donnie.
What up, y'all? Donnie Cassanova here. You ain't shit for watching. Yeah, I'm a little down in the dumps. Not feeling too well tonight, but I'm here to talk and bring some lights and some conversation.
Okay, all right.
Oh, Casanova. No, I couldn't resist.
All right. Let's get down. Let's get down to business. I tried to do this conversation a month ago on my main channel, Black Men Being Brutally Honest. By the way, please subscribe to that channel as well as the other channels that we have here. But we wanted to do an unfiltered legacy on Martin Luther King Jr. And we wanted to do this conversation originally on his birthday observance weekend. I think the Sunday before, but that didn't happen due to my Google Hangouts being suspended. So we're gonna have this conversation tonight, and we're gonna bring up some interesting talking points here. So if you gentlemen could look at the screen here. Let me see. Let's see. There's our subject of discussion. Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Loved him or hated him. He is the most iconic black leader in our history. A lot of people didn't like his stance on nonviolence. They felt as if it disarmed blacks. Just based on the violence that was happening to black people on a constant basis. During and it was that way for centuries with blacks in this country, from slavery to post-slavery Reconstruction, to Jim Crow era, to the Civil Rights Movement. Okay. I'm gonna play the "I Have a Dream" speech just to kind of set the mood a little bit. So just bear with me, gentlemen. I'm gonna also do something else afterwards. So this will be about a good 7, 8, 9 minutes, and then we can get the discussion going. So if you could mute yourselves for a second, let me play this. All right, here we go. Let me pause it for a second. I do not own this video. This is a video of another YouTuber. Just throwing that disclaimer out there. I will be putting the link in the description so you can watch the video on the original channel if you like. Also, so just want to throw that out there.
You need to turn the volume up. You can barely hear it.
Yeah, Kev, we're not hearing that. We're not hearing that. You need to get that up a little bit.
Oh, okay. Let me see if this does anything. Can you hear it? Is that better?
That was loud and clear. That was good.
Okay, cool.
I have a dream that one day on the red hills of Georgia, sons of former slaves and the sons of former slave owners, will they be able to sit down together at the table of brotherhood? I have a dream that one day, even the state of Mississippi, a state
Nah, it's muffled or something, or either you're borging. One.
injustice.
Say what? Hello?
Honestly, he said you were bored, but I actually heard you perfectly clear.
Okay.
I was gonna say either it's muffled or. Oh, okay. Well, maybe it's on my end. Okay then.
Hold on.
Sweltering with the heat of oppression, will be transformed into an oasis of freedom and justice. I have a dream. My four little children will one day live in a nation where they will not be judged by the color of their skin, but by the content of their character. I have a dream. I have a dream that one day down in Alabama with its vicious racists, with its governor having his lips dripping with the words of interposition and nullification. One day right there in Alabama, little black boys and black girls will be able to join hands with little white boys and white girls as sisters and brothers. I have a dream today.
Y'all heard that? Hello?
Yeah, I can hear you. I can hear you, bro.
Hey, we're gonna revisit that statement. I just want to get somebody's thoughts on what he just said. Like joining up. Do you think that was part of the problem right there, or do you think it was part of the solution?
A large part of what happened is his message was taken as integration, and integration unfortunately didn't help us, as we can see with clear foresight. I think, white supremacists basically co-opted his movement, used him as a spearhead, and said, yeah, y'all come on over. They still mistreated us, but we didn't have our own. Instead of having our own and being able to come to the table as an equal, we came to the table. We came to the dinner at the kids' table.
Yeah. Okay. Let me let the video finish.
Okay.
Well, what's going on?
No, I was just gonna say that I don't think that I don't think we came to the table wrong. I think because we focused on integration instead of finances, that's where we messed up. See, hindsight is 2020. It sounded good to be treated as equal. White folks didn't really. White folks only let us spend money with them, but they wouldn't spend money with us, so we were never an equal. They never thought about treating us as an equal at all. It never even came across their mind on a whole, as a group of people. So we because we were trying to do what they were not trying to do, that's what messed us up. But like I say, hindsight is 2020. At that time, I'm pretty sure it sounded like a great idea.
Well, remember, a lot of black abandoned black neighborhoods, black businesses to jump and go to the white people businesses. So it wasn't a dynamic of, we come to that's why I would say it wasn't a dynamic of we come to the table with something. We tried to join and jump in their table and they put us at the kids' table. I really feel like, we abandoned our community to go shop and buy the Gucci, the Louis Vuitton, to go to the restaurant where we previously couldn't go sit and eat just because we want, it was new.
No. I agree with that's what we did. But I'm saying, and we understand that from hindsight. But then they felt we are all gonna do the same thing. Black folks gonna shop with them, white folks gonna shop with us. We had no clue that white folks as a whole was basically finna give us a big FU.
Yeah. You know what though? I'm gonna say this: living in Montgomery, all integration did was force the white people and the resources to another part of town. They took it all with them.
Yeah.
That
white flag, red line.
That was a big FU.
Yeah, but my thing is that was their plan the whole time. The only reason we had integration, in my opinion,
is he Borgen or is it just me?
Say what?
Nah, I hear everything clear. He was asking was anybody born, but I hear everybody clear.
I can't hear a word he's saying. It's choppy as all get out, or is it me?
It might be me, bro.
Yeah, I can hear everything they're saying.
Yeah, everything's fine as far as what I'm hearing too. But what I was saying was
okay, now it's clear.
Man, y'all about to make me lose my thought over here. But what I was saying was that
time, brother. Take your time.
What I was saying was that white folks had an intention. White folks, this is what I'm saying. Martin Luther King meant well, but at the end of the day, he didn't accomplish anything. The only reason we integrated is because white folks set up the system where they had a code that they were going to do as a whole. We're going to allow black people to shop from us, but we're not going to shop for them. So integration only happened to allow black folks to shop with white folks, but it was an economical move to help. We're going to always stand on top of the niggers' dollar. You know what I'm saying? So we'll be in better shape. It was just an economic move. We didn't integrate because Martin Luther King was a good guy. We didn't integrate because of a march. We didn't integrate because we were non-violent against police dogs and all that other stuff. We only integrated due to the facts white folks wanted to control the money that black folks had. That's it. That's all.
I can definitely see that. And if you look at how things are going right now, I mean, that's definitely what it is. They have more control over what we feel is important. Think about it, like what styles we think in fashion is in fashion and everything. They want control of our spending dollar. I mean, I've known a lot of rich people. When I say people who have just started off middle class and got over $1 million in the bank and over $1 million net worth, none of them look like they have money like that. You know, none of them do. But yet you can, like think about it. You can watch the average person walking down the street, and he might have $1,000 outfit on, but ain't even got $50 in the bank.
Well, see, my thing is I appreciate wholeheartedly what Martin Luther King attempted to do,
Right.
but white folks only picked him up and put him in our faces while they were playing a game of what's the game where you had the little pill under the three things and you move it around.
Mhm.
Y'all know what I'm talking about. You know, you had the little ball with some cups or something. You move it around. You got to pick one cup. White folks were
Oh,
just
yeah,
that.
3-card Mountie.
Yeah,
Basically,
right.
basically as he was window dressing.
No. They what they did. The black folks have to, and I'm just saying this for the listeners. Black folks have to learn to respect the strategy of white supremacy and what they do. What they actually do well. As far
Oh,
as
of course.
strategy and staying on code, they do well. What they did was they took Martin Luther King, they propped him up, said, everybody look at this guy. We're going to give you something because of what he did. And all they did was say, let's position ourselves to get the money back from the niggas because they were supposed to be our slaves. How can we
Right.
position ourselves to get our money back with the niggas? Well, this is what we're going to do. We're going to claim integration. Let them shop at our stores. We ain't shopping at theirs. We're going to get all our
Hmm.
money. We're gonna blame it on Martin Luther King because
Definitely.
he was a great man, even though it had nothing to do. See, in my personal opinion, Martin Luther King didn't accomplish anything. When he actually figured out what he should have done, that's when they killed him because he was
Yeah.
changing his whole plans up right before they
Yeah.
killed
I can definitely see that. But basically, they put themselves in position to capitalize off of it. But if you look at it from a position of not black and white, but look at it as a person with power. Say you're you have power, you have control, and you make the decisions. Not too many people are going to give up that power and control and decision making. What they're going to do is, okay, yeah, you make the people think that they have a false assumption of power or illusion that they have some power, but really you just change the way to operate. You still control everything, but instead of doing it this way, now you do it this way. But it's the same person running the same show. So,
Yeah, well, my thing was black folks we were gaining power due to
hmm
segregation. That's when we started gaining power, and we stopped gaining power because of integration. We've been going backwards ever since we've been integrated. The more integrated we are, the more backwards we get.
well, the fact is too, the system. It's not even that we're really going backwards. What I've noticed is it's just like the system is set up to say that these things are right and you can only do things if you have their mentality and act like them. Where basically it's just as many of us, that act like us, black people, and still can be successful at what they do. Like kind of like with standardized testing. If you ask a student, little Johnny went down there and mingled with the upperclassmen before tonight's festivities. A black kid down there that grew up in the hood would be like, mingle? Festivities? You understand? I don't know what the hell. I'm confused already. I don't know what the fuck is going on because they don't hear those type of words. But if you took a white person up there and said, yeah, so and so had to put the smack down after somebody regulated on him, they would be, they just made it to where that is the norm, where, their way is the norm. And if you don't equip to their way, then you don't get anywhere. Or that's what's the standard of you being judged, is if you how well you can do their way.
No, I get what you're saying, but that's not what I was referring to when I said we were going backwards. When I said we were going backwards, I was literally talking about when black folks came out of slavery. They
Mhm.
understood one thing wholeheartedly. Their problem was a lack of ownership.
Oh, definitely.
Everybody knew they needed to own something, and
Hmm.
they did everything they could to gain as much ownership and control over their community as possible. Like even
Hmm.
before the famous bus boycott, they said it was like 500 black bus companies that all
Hmm.
went down the torch because we integrated and we stopped using our own stuff. You know what I'm saying? We made a huge mistake as a people, and I
Well,
would. granted that we didn't understand as much back then,
Hmm.
and but the fact that we aren't turning it around now, yeah, we went backwards. In my opinion, we went backwards.
Well, we've been taught to believe that the white man, anything that the white people do is better. Like they say, the white man's ice is colder when it's the same damn thing. We've
Yeah.
been born to believe that. And I even noticed that is I'm an independent contractor. I'll come and I'll give my black people that I work for a nice price, give them a good price. They'll sit up here and try to like pity party me, oh, just that, oh, it's that much, just that and the other. But if the white man came and said $375, they just, all right, that's what I got to pay. Well, I come and say, yeah, give me $200. You know what I mean? They just accept more of what they say as if like they're just God.
No, I mean I understand that and what you're saying, and I think the main reason that is because white folks were smart enough to get a separation between the folks who had ownership mentality versus those who didn't. See,
Hmm.
when you had them slaves and them actual former slaves, and then they had
Hmm.
some kids, because remember slavery didn't officially end in 1865. So if you was 20 in 1865, you was a slave for 20 years. You know exactly what it felt like. You see what I'm saying?
Right.
So now
Right.
you free in 1865. Okay, let's say you 6 years old. What year is it at that point? When that puts you into 1905. See, people still had a grasp of what was happening with slavery and everything they went to, and they wasn't about to give up nothing. And they talking to their kids and their grandkids. You have to get a separation of mentalities of why we should own versus why we don't
Hmm.
need to own. And white folks successfully as a whole got black folks away from ownership. That's what I'm saying. My thing is we have to give them credit for being able to convince us that ownership is not important. And once we figure out it is, that's when we can
Hmm.
begin to go. But right now, we don't have enough ownership. And when I say ownership, I'm actually talking about black men because men direct communities. You know what I'm saying? Women only things is not bad, but they don't direct communities. Communities have to
No,
say if they own something or not. Men
definitely.
direct communities. So we have to get back into our ownership position.
I can agree with that.
Yeah, yeah. Let me restart this video. Let it finish. But very good point, gentlemen.
Okay. That sounds delicious, Kev. Just want you to know that.
Yeah, yeah,
Man, next time send Uber. I'll eat for all of your people on the panel.
yeah. I got y'all. I got you.
Be made plain, and the crooked places will be made straight. And the word of the Lord shall be revealed, and all flesh shall come together. Without this week that I go back to the source with this faith, we will be able to use the anointing of the staff this faith. We will be able to transform this course of our nation into a beautiful symphony of brotherhood. With this faith, we will be able to work together, to pray together, to struggle together, to go to jail together, to stand up for freedom together, knowing we will be free.
Judge, you need to mute yourself.
Oh, okay.
Sing with new meaning, my country tears of thee. Sweet land of liberty of thee I sing. Land where my fathers died, land of the pilgrims cry. From every mountain side, let freedom ring. If America is to be a great nation, this must become true. So let freedom ring. On the prodigious hilltops of New Hampshire, let freedom ring. From the mighty mountains of New York, let freedom ring from the hiking Alleghenies of Pennsylvania. Let freedom ring from the snow-capped Rockies of Colorado. Let freedom ring from the courageous slopes of California. But not only that, let freedom ring from the Stone Mountain of Georgia.
And that's around the corner.
Let freedom ring from Lookout Mountain of Tennessee. Let freedom ring from every hill and molehill of Mississippi. From will be able to speed up that day when all of God's children, black men and white men, Jews and Gentiles, Protestants and Catholics, will be able to join hands and sing in the words of the old Negro song. Free at last, free at last. Almighty, I have the prayer.
All right. Now that that's done. All right, fellas. I have a question for you guys. All right, cool. Say that we had where's your stance on Martin Luther King? First of all, for each one of you, would you say you're pro or not so pro? I don't feel like that as a black man, I can be an anti on someone like Martin Luther King, and I may be a little biased. You know, I'm born and raised in Montgomery, Alabama. You know, our history is deep in that, and you know, we got respect for that stuff based on everything that's happened. Who died for it? So, but with me, I'm also a realist as well. That's what I am. So I would say I'm kind of on the fence a little bit about Martin Luther King. I don't condemn his legacy. I'm with Roger. I think he meant well, but still just kind of on the fence a little bit. And it's only because, you know, it's a respect thing for the civil rights movement. Let me ask y'all a question. Do you think with the precedence of the civil rights movement, did it have the long-term desired effect?
No, the movement definitely did not have the effect.
Yeah.
The movement did not, because black folks were co-opted. We created a movement for black people, and what white folks were smart enough to do, instead of making it about black people, they made it about civil rights and minorities. Therefore, everything black people should have got was shared with everyone else, basically but black people, for a long time. And then to keep us more contained for a longer period of time, they started shifting certain benefits to women. So the black man would always have trouble with the black woman. Therefore, they'll never work as a team and get their community together the way it should be. And if anyone says it ain't working, you a fool. Point blank period. Because we can see that it's working right now.
Yeah, you know what they call that in the modern day?
What's that?
They got a nice little dog whistle term, and it's hidden in the feminist movement. Intersectionality, saying, you know, uplifting one group of people helps all, but it's just like, it's kind of like what you say. The principle of intersectionality is to remove you from that kind of thing, to remove you from those things for black people and to focus on other groups. And to me, in that principle, other groups always benefit from that. You know, I don't think the true end game of the civil rights movement was realized. Basically, if you look at it from a media perception and you look at it from the way things were presented, we wanted full acceptance from them. We wanted, I'm not saying this is us, but as far as it pertains to the civil rights movement, we wanted acceptance from them. We wanted them to stop killing us. We wanted to desegregate so we can have access to the nicer things, because, you know, that's what really, I think that's where the white is better mentality kind of came from. And we did not want to be discriminated against. We wanted every right they had, you know, that they were allowed. And it's kind of like that happened, but it didn't happen. Are y'all following me?
I'm following you so far.
I'm listening.
Yeah. So that's what I'm saying. That's pretty much all I was saying. It's like, so. Yeah. Getting back to my question earlier, would you say you were pro or not so pro or anti Martin Luther King?
Well, if I were I go, I'd say I was actually pro, because I don't fault the solution because it didn't get the desired results. because basically it's like, you know, it was like the white people just did a counter to the movement. They just, okay, well, fine. We got to realize that this is gaining momentum over here, doing that, and the other. So instead of doing this, that, and the other, and making sure that they can't go to certain bathrooms, this, that, and the other, we'll just find another way to control or another way to keep them busy, you know? And that's basically what they did. It's like the virus that adapts to the cure, and that's exactly what they did. You know, basically what it is. The civil rights movement was a cure to something. So it didn't cure the virus just adapted and attacked something else instead.
Yeah, and I think that's been done throughout all the movements.
Right.
I mean, with the Nation of Islam, you know, and the Black Panther movement, except for those are more extreme examples. But I feel what you're saying. Roger, what about you?
What's the question again?
Are you pro, not so
Oh,
pro? Or
yeah, my pro. I'm pro Dr. Martin Luther King. I'm anti his message. See, I'm pro him because Martin Luther King, he stepped on the line and risked his life to do what he could to help black people along the way. I can't be anti him. He don't know what we know. He only know what he knew. And at that point in time, he wasn't able to read into what the future is gonna bring. So I like the fact that he did something that he thought would work to try to accomplish what he felt he needed to accomplish for himself, his wife, his children, and other people like him. So if I can't be a man who has the courage to speak out against wrong stuff and to put his life on the line for it. I can't be anti him. Now, because I have history on my side, you know, I see what he couldn't see. I'm anti his message. I don't think you go into anything with just being non-violent. I think you start non-violent. But when violence is brought to you, I see nothing wrong with answering violence with violence. I'm against murder, but I'm not against killing.
You're against murder, but not against killing. I like that.
Yeah.
I like the way you put that, man. So basically, this is your perception of what's your perception of his message in short terms.
Well, I mean, the thing was, he wanted everyone to be treated as equals. I like a situation where I can be an equal to everybody else involved, and then whatever I get, and I got an equal opportunity to get what anybody else gets. There's nothing for me to be mad about, nothing for me to be salty about, and that's what his message was. He just wanted equality amongst different kinds of people in the country. I can't be mad at that.
Do you think it would have been better if it was just equality for just us blacks and upliftment of each other?
Well, yeah, the thing is, no one should have been included in anything he was trying to accomplish. I believe the focus should have been more on getting the money that was owed us from slavery. We were owed money. We were supposed to get 40 acres and a mule, and we should have, at that particular time, they should have looked at what was the cost of 40 acres and a mule, and then paid out. Everybody should have got this. What they would have did with it would have been their business. But see, at that point in time, if you look at Dr. Martin Luther King, his granddaddy was probably a slave too. You know what I'm saying? My granddaddy's granddaddy was probably a slave. If they would have got that money back then, they would have known what to do with it. They knew the value of ownership. We'd have been fine. That's my opinion. We'd have been fine until it would have came to bloodshed more than likely, just because how white folks are. And when black people do fine in this country, white folks will physically attack us. So if you don't look at that part of the equation, we would have been okay. You know what I'm saying? Just give us the value of 40 acres and a mule. Let us do what we want to do with it. Everything would have been fine.
Okay. Yeah, I got a point to bring up. I kind of felt like that as time progressed, we kind of let it go and things started to slip back a little bit into the way they were. I felt like, being a child that grew up in the 80s, we had them kind of on the fence. With that, I mean, I realized the 70s, the 70s, tough on crime era, but really, with the narratives out there, they didn't fuck with us. For real, we were actually gaining some steam. Then they had to find a way to bring us back down. So I just wanted to throw that little tidbit in there. So Donnie, I know
Yo,
you're saying it, but I want you to say it for I want you to say it for the show, and as all of us, I'm sure you have an explanation for this.
Martin Luther King was a coon.
Whoa, whoa. Let me kick
For a second, I want to hear this.
Can you go into more detail about that? Go ahead.
Yeah, the dynamic of how that man moved was he just to me seemed like a puppet for white supremacy for white. So when I say he was coon, I mean it in the literal sense. He was a pet coon for white people. Uh, Even today, they use his message as a cause or justification for being the taking the effects of racism uh, and putting it on your chin, taking it on the chin and being a dignified slave or whatever the case is. If you look at everything he's done, this man was getting hit with rocks. And he kept walking, talking about some nonviolence. Meanwhile, every other leader around that time wasn't out here saying, let's just go kill and raise crops in neighborhoods of white people. They were saying, if you attack me, we will attack you. If you come for us, we will make sure that we are protected. He had a whole mantra of getting his ass whooped and just taking it on the chin because eventually white people are going to see the error in their ways. And I feel like that's just problematic for several reasons. But the main one being is you expect white supremacists who look at you as a lesser human being to take pity on you and stop treating you in a systematic racist way. It's not going to happen.
I mean, think about it. Look at it. Look what they do now. They know that, hey, a black guy can do so little, and we can do so little and be killed, and everything is justified. I mean, they had a mass shooting today. I'm pretty sure they caught that guy alive too.
And
I mean,
what do they tell you when they shoot a black person, when they whoop a black person ass, when they fuck him up? Well, Dr. King would say, what would Dr. King say?
right? Tell that to the motherfucker that was hitting your ass.
Funny,
See,
that's
no,
a Tommy Lauren talking point.
Would you say?
well, I think that good.
Like Tommy Lauren, white girl, blonde hair.
Yeah. What would MLK do? MLK
Right.
would take his ass whooping and just shut the fuck up. Why
Right.
don't y'all try standing out and doing nothing?
Right.
Y'all should just get together and march. Marching
Right.
don't do shit, but y'all should
Right.
do
March.
that anyway.
Right.
So,
Marching, they like the marching because think about it. They like that shit because look, okay, fine. They're going to have a big a million man march here, this, that, and the other. First thing they're going to do is sell all the things like the sponsors going to be all white companies. The vendors going to be all. So, yep, your march, you think y'all doing something. No, motherfucker, you just made all these people that we put in this position rich.
all damn day.
All
So,
day.
he claimed himself as a pastor. Now, I'm not gonna put anything past because he was a man, but don't run around and claim you're a pastor and you jeopardize your whole fucking movement because you fucking white bitches.
Oh man.
As soon as he got a little bit of clout, he was out here fucking white women. So much so that the FBI said, "Let's."
I'm gonna say this. Let's say, let's say he was hitting some white chicks. At the end of the day, my thing is, so what? Honestly,
Yeah, I don't see nothing. I don't see nothing wrong with him fucking white women. That really don't bother me. And I'm even to the point like this. Both of my sons, they only date white women. Now I never pushed that issue, but they only like
You
look
got
at
to
me. I
think.
only date black women. But
This is a
the fact,
married man running around trying to
oh,
be
at
the
the
pillar
time,
of the
okay,
community. Yeah, this is a
yeah,
married man running around to be the pillar of the community. So you can't run around and be the pillar of the
Well, yeah,
community
he
So,
wasn't.
and
so Donnie,
be a
On that one.
figurehead,
so
and
so
you out here fucking
okay.
white women talking about take this nigga dick. It don't
so
work.
so
But I'll say on in his defense, to be devil's advocate here, in his defense, he was looking for more of a unity where we all, his what he wanted and what he got were two different things. He wanted everybody to be equal to where nobody wouldn't see skin color, and I think that's what
Yeah,
his goal
he
was.
wanted to be equal so he can go ahead and have him a white little side bitch, and
Oh man,
and it be accepted. That's
I,
just
I don't.
that. What
That's
would you
what I
say?
think.
hey, you know what though?
But
You know what though? You know what though? I want them guys not be wrong for saying this. I'm a married man, but I don't know. I don't know if I care about it that much because if Coretta knew all, why didn't she just leave him? I mean,
Right.
so here's the thing.
I think what it was she knew how important the movement was versus personal feelings, and
Right.
for a woman, that's a rarity. So,
Not even the fact of that, they could have been in an open relationship. I mean,
It
open
wasn't no damn
relationships
open relationship.
but
didn't
You know that
start
nigga wasn't
just
no
back
open
then.
relationship.
but you know
But
what? Public figures versus like people like us, they're a different
Yeah.
set of rules. You know?
Yeah, they're especially back then. Yeah. I mean, like literally, if you go back even 50 years ago, it was quite common for a rich person and the wife to know that this man been cheating on her, and it was if you don't leave him.
Yeah,
I'm
I
gonna say
understand.
this again: the Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King.
I got you on that, Donnie. It was the way he portrayed himself versus the way he really was. So I do get your point on that.
Yeah,
Wait,
yeah.
wait. Let me go.
Can't argue that. I
Now
can't
let me
argue
go
that.
into that, like right here. Come on now. I mean, no offense. The best way, he's still a guy. Best way to get into people's draws is
With some
power.
power.
And look
Yeah.
at power. And now power as that, no, but listen, even powers in that. Because think about it. How many preachers right now out there fucking in their congregation?
Ooh,
But
yeah.
let me put this in perspective for you. If you were supposed to be the figurehead of a movement that is empowering black people to seek a change, and you are compromising your movement because you want to fuck something, I don't need you as no leader
You know what
because
though?
pussy
He
is
don't
worth
need.
more than all black people.
You know what though?
Uh,
I can say this: they were compromising that movement anyway. I mean, I guess we had niggas like Jesse by your side.
Well, that was another one of my points. You can't tell me this nigga. Look at how these niggas move today.
yeah.
You can't tell me that man didn't know he was running with some suckers.
No, I was thinking more about it. I was thinking more of it in lines of a conspiracy. I remember, let me explain this. I remember a couple years ago on Facebook, there was this video going around of this preacher talking about he was the preacher that had the last conversation with Martin Luther King. And he was talking about like how they were brothers and everything, and he let it slip out. Saying, "I moved so they can get a clear shot." And the video stopped right there. Do anybody ever remember seeing this video?
Yeah.
I didn't see that.
I remember hearing about
video,
that
but
the video. I've heard about it.
there is a book talking about basically, his murder and everything else, and in it basically points out Jesse punk ass as being the one who basically set him up for the shot, telling him to come on outside.
For them to talk.
Right, and he was supposed to be identified because he was the only one without a tie on or something to that effect. Now, apparently they was in the room arguing or some shit, so they came out to have a cigarette, and that's when the shot took place. Now, it's my understanding that he died in his side chick's arms. But I just to put emphasis on my earlier point. But if I'm not mistaken, the U.S. government has found it fault for his death.
Oh, definitely.
And
I mean, he was a person of interest. Like I said through and all high profile like FBI, CIA. high. You know,
No,
he was high value target.
no. When I say person of interest is I'm not
I
person
mean,
of
not
interest.
person every, but high value target rather.
Right, but when I say they're at fault, I mean they actually were getting people out there to take the shot. So it's
Oh,
my
definitely.
understanding that they hired somebody from, I want to say, the mafia to go ahead and take his ass out. It's been a while since I brushed up on that. I probably should have done it before today,
Well,
but
but basically, it was one. Basically, you know, they didn't as they say, they didn't pull the trigger, but they paid for it. You know how they say they hired the hitman.
right. So
You
you
know,
know, but
basically, you know,
I,
like,
all of them factors, you know, his turn the other cheek mentality, you know, the take a ass with the mentality, the his integration standpoints, the fact that he would ruin his movement or compromise his movement for the sake of pussy. All of these scream, you know, this is not a nigga that I want to be a leader. You a pet nigga to me. They had you in pocket from Jump Street, and the fact that he had Jesse Jackson and Al Sharpton running around him tells me a whole lot about his character and from Jump. Because if you running around the country with these niggas, nah, bro.
Okay,
This
Donnie,
nigga, huh?
Donnie, you see the letter on display on the screen?
Nah, I can't wait. Hold on, let me see. Oh, I definitely can't see that, but I see the letter.
Oh, you see it, you can't see it,
I
but you
can't
can
read
see
it.
that later. The letter.
on the YouTube screen, you can see it big when
Yeah,
you.
yeah.
It's hard in the Hangout.
Yeah. This is the suicide letter.
Oh, cool.
This Dr. Martin Luther King. I think this was a FBI or it was. Yeah, I see. I'll look up the information, but I want to go ahead and read this. I want to read a little bit of it. And it states, King, in view of your low-grade, abnormal personal behavior, I will not dignify your name with either a Mr. or a Reverend or a Doctor, and your last name called to mind only the type of king, such as King Henry VIII, and his countless acts of adultery and immoral conduct than of that of a king. Look into your heart. You are a complete fraud and a great liability to all of us Negroes. White people in this country have enough frauds of their own, but I am sure they won't have one at this time that is anywhere near your equal. You are no clergyman. You know it. I repeat, you are a colossal fraud and an evil, vicious one. You could not believe in God and act this way. Clearly, you don't believe any personal moral principles. So, having read that, do you believe this letter is real?
Now, who wrote this?
Let me look it up real quick.
I mean, this shit sound like what I just said. So,
Let's see. It says an FBI King suicide letter. It was a suicide letter sent to Martin Luther King Jr.
Well, I mean, it sounds like just what I said. So, I mean, like I said, if you look at any of these movies where, you know, motherfuckers is running a heist, 9 times out of 10, the heist is fucked up because somebody else was running after pussy.
Yeah.
So if we apply that to a movement where, you know, you're supposed to help black people out and you running after pussy, wow.
Well, everything is. Do you realize you don't even have to go back to that. You can attribute every, like, if you go back in history and look, a lot of wars were fought over pussy. Anytime a lot of wars were lost, where information, intelligence were gained from the other side over pussy. I mean, like, literally. I mean, you know, I'm not even gonna lie. Me and my friends, I can talk about it now because it was, you know, it's well past the statute of limitations. But we were in a big, you know, thing, getting money, like kind of like larceny kind of way. Basically, the rule was this: if a female ever knew about it, somebody we were having sex with, ever even just caught the slightest wind, we would say we were gonna close up shop and just call it a day. Because we knew that if you ever let a woman that you were involved with know what's going on, 9 times out of 10, that sometimes you're going to lose. You know, she's going to get mad one day, or you break up. She's going to run her mouth. This thing is over with.
Yeah, and they was looking for it. That's why they co-opted his ass. At some point, they came in there with them vile ass tapes. They hit his wife up. They said, "Hey, bitch, what you want to do?" And luckily, his wife, acquiesced and said, "Nah, listen, I'm not going with this bullshit. I believe my husband is our marriage isn't as strong as the movement." So his wife had the
Right.
common sense, but he didn't have the common
Right.
sense.
Thank you.
Okay, guys. The guy on the screen right here is William C. Sullivan. He is the supposed composer of the letter.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
He's the one that just composed it.
Mm-hmm.
And in the letter, it stated that he was black, but you can see this guy's Caucasian.
Well,
In this part, you are a complete fraud and a great liability to all of us Negroes.
I'm sure they was going to co-opt him or they was going to co-opt something and then have him kill him on like Malcolm, like they went after Malcolm. They was going to have him killed like he went after Malcolm, and then have the dude killed. So the situation, they probably had multiple plans, but the situation didn't work out the way they wanted to, and that letter was released well after the fact. But I'm sure they had multiple plans to take out Martin Luther King, and that was one of them.
Definitely. Like you said, they had backup for the backup.
Right. If you remember, the same man that went in there and went after Malcolm, they put his ass in the Black Panther organization.
You talking about your boy? No. Let's see. Wanted to do a hypothetical real quick. Soon as I bring the image up. All right. This right here. So, they say that Martin Luther King Jr. and Malcolm X had one closed door meeting. No one knows what was said except the two of them.
My nigga, why you buck dancing?
He may not have said something quite like that. He could have talked about a lot of other things. I give you the point on the marriage thing. I can't defend a man having sex with a bunch of women while he's putting himself in that position as leader. I can't defend that. But I'm a real talk with trying to help black folks. Yeah, I don't even care. You know what I'm saying? I'm just gonna do it the way white folks do stuff on Sunshine. When they get caught doing bad, the rest of them just look the other way. It's gonna be one of those times. I'm just gonna take a page from a book and just look the other way.
Yeah, but the problem is that would have completely discredited him and any movement he was part of.
It might have had some discredit to some people, but I ain't gonna lie. Like, I'm pretty sure there's just as many people that just like us. I didn't give a damn. Or maybe how do you know? He said, okay, fine. I'm going to be fucking these white women, but I got an ulterior motive in mind using them to walk from march. You know what I mean? Because think about it. If you get enough of them, right. No, but I mean, think about this, though. You get enough white people on your side, too, that can get things done, too. So sometimes, how they use you, but no, I'm just saying this. How they use you, you can use them. Don't think that you can't use white people, because I've used white people before.
I don't think he was stopping white supremacy one pussy at a time. I just don't.
No, but I mean, it's just the fact is sometimes you get all you got to do is like you didn't think about it. You didn't had a girl that you were messing with, and then all of a sudden she fight harder for you than you ever could.
That's cool. Mean, what is she going? What is any chick gonna do? Any single solitary chick gonna do for Martin Luther King on the level?
Not even the fact of that, but she could talk to. She could, relay your message. So maybe not saying that's an excuse. Not saying that that's an excuse to do it. But I mean, you can get some things out of that, or maybe you can even use that for counterintelligence. Okay, at least you know that this person is friends with that person, so you might hear that you got a hit squad after you, and that might be, you know what I mean, the difference of you making it out alive.
Nah, I can't say he has some grandmaster plan fucking. I
ain't saying give him credit for that. You ain't gonna give him credit for that. It could be some counter intelligence. You know.
He was on the counter.
Oh yeah, I mean, it's plain and simple. You might as well reap the benefits of it too. You're taking it. I ain't gonna lie. Think about it. As a person in his time doing what he did, that don't tell me that your ass would be able to come home and go to sleep easily at night. So any way you can escape, I'm surprised he wasn't a big ass drug addict. I mean, think about it. Any way that you can escape reality for a moment, I can totally understand that.
So why didn't Malcolm have this problem?
Oh, Malcolm was more, as they would say, more alpha male. More, you kick me, I'm kicking your ass back.
Right, but he didn't have this problem because they tried to run the taps on his ass and they couldn't go back and go get him fucking these prostitutes and doing everything else. He was because he understood the value of it. His word. You doing all this, your word is trash at that point. But not only that, you don't sacrifice your movement for no sex. Take your ass home, nigga. Bring your wife on the road.
He trying to do to the white girl what the white man been doing to us for 500 years. Fuck him.
Cool. You go ahead and do that, but just keep your ass from the podium.
That's basically what he said. Or maybe
you keep smashing Becky, but don't tell me about some nonviolence.
Maybe he was right. Maybe he was just saying. Maybe he was saying he don't love them hoes. I mean, it's just what it is.
He said, I don't love these hoes.
Right. He said, man. He said, no. He said, basically, I have sex with my wife, but I let Becky swallow my cum.
Well, that shit ended up catching up to his ass.
Yeah, it did.
Well, again, I'm just gonna say I'm not gonna try to defend that because he did put himself out there as a leader and as a reverend and all that. So you can't, if you're gonna put yourself out there like that, you got to be willing to do the stuff that comes with it.
But take that scrutiny.
Again, in this situation, because of what he was trying to get accomplished, I'm just gonna look the other way. Point blank period. I'm not saying it was right. I'm not saying it was good. I'm just saying I ain't gonna acknowledge it.
Okay. There you go. I got you. So you learned something from our white brothers and sisters.
I just felt like that in my mind said a lot, and also you hanging around with Jesse and Al. I just don't.
Well, I know a lot. I know something about Jesse, and just by seeing him in person, Jesse's pretty stuck up. Like, seriously, that motherfucker got a chip on his shoulder. He's the kind of guy that thinks people handing you sanitizer. Like, kind of like not that you totally blame a person for that, but it was like my grandmother was the cafeteria manager at St. Jude. St. Jude was campsite 4 for the Selma to Montgomery March. I think campsite 4 is where they actually had all the concerts. She said Jesse Jackson, every time he visited the school, he acted like a diva. Basically, he stalked at the school and he acted like his panties were made of gold. Period. So I kind of understand a little feeling for Jesse. Jesse was one of those guys that tried to be Martin after Martin died, and I don't think I wholly appreciate it. But
I don't even think he tried to be Martin. I think he tried to be the average pro pimp preacher because he didn't do much of anything but cause some problems and say some slick shit.
Jesse didn't try to be Martin. He was paid to be directed by white folks. That's why when he got in line with white folks checked him. Remember when they put him out about his illegitimate son and all that? Because he got out of pocket. Jesse been working for them for the longest. That's my personal belief. I do believe he had something to do with Martin Luther King getting shot. And I tell Jesse to his face. Now I can't prove it, But it shows all the quote unquote coincidences that happen. Seem like Jesse be getting paid by them folks for a long time. I can't prove Jesse is getting paid by white folk, but it sure look that way if you ask me.
Okay, I can see that.
Yeah,
All
and
right.
then I think Al's perm got to his motherfucking head. Have
Too
you
much
seen this
juice.
nigga on Instagram? What is this nigga doing?
So soaked down in his scalp, huh?
He looked like a 14-year-old little girl. This nigga taking pictures in the mirror. Yo,
Man.
Who's this?
Al Sharpton.
Okay. Let me ask y'all if y'all heard.
Are you serious?
So you got that curl activator going on, huh?
Let me ask y'all if y'all heard this offhand fact that Sam Cooke, before he died, was going to fund a movement that was going to combine Martin Luther King and Malcolm X.
I heard something like that before, but I didn't hear any like info on it or anything to make it credible.
Well, yeah,
Sam
but
Cooke was a thorough ass dude. So my grandmother always, I don't know if she had a fetish for the dude. She was just in love with the dude. But we grew up with one damn song on repeat all the damn time. I was born by the river. That was a thorough ass nigga.
Right.
Sam Cooke owned all his masters. He owned all his distribution. He wanted to start a distribution company just for black music. And every time we try to do something like that, boom, they kill us or they ruin our lives. Remember when those 4 rap moguls tried to do it and they just busted them down? King Dash, Jay Prince, Irv Gotti, and who was the other one?
They immediately went to go get Irv. Jay Prince, they always doing something to Jay Prince. Jay Prince, they always doing something to go after Jay Prince and try to halt him from getting some money. But yeah, that was a while ago.
No, the problems when it comes to stuff like that, they want us. They're gonna make sure, like as they say, they're gonna make sure that they got their hands in there and they getting something, some kind of dividends out of anything that black people do. I mean, they're gonna make sure of that, and if they can't buy you out and turn you into a cluck for them, they're just gonna get rid of you. I mean, people like that. I mean, powerful people. I mean, think about it. You imagine what a drug dealer could do in the city, right? We sit up here and we say we can see that because we've seen it happen many a time. But imagine a motherfucker who's writing the laws for the state. Imagine what type of power they have. They can snap their fingers and have somebody disappear. It happens all the time.
Yeah, I mean they've done that all the time. The politician is the biggest gangster on planet Earth.
Oh, definitely.
They're the motherfucker that can literally go up to you because the common thug is gonna go up and rob you. They're gonna take your money and run off or walk off or have you with some fear. You don't really want to retaliate. The U.S. government is so damn gangster. They're gonna give you money, make you pay twice as much back, if not 3 or 4 times as much, and tell you that you in debt and they own you.
And on top of that, they're going to destroy your credibility, so make you look like you're the biggest fool in the world.
Yeah.
I mean,
hit you with some. Hey, Mr. Ashley, listen. You took out a loan in 2004. Yeah, we know. Something times was hard. What we're gonna go ahead and do is we've got the ability to go ahead and take your house. So we're gonna go ahead and do that at this time. You have a wonderful day. Huh? What? You can't? Yeah, no, sir. It's in the contract. You have a wonderful fucking day.
Or they say, well, we'll be nice enough. We'll be nice enough to let you keep your house till you die. We'll just take it after you're dead, so that way you don't leave it to none of your little nigger offsprings. Because for people like that, they probably call you a nigga to your face. I mean, because they're not. I mean, and that's the bad thing about powerful people like that. They're going, I'm gonna call you a nigga, and you're not gonna do shit about it.
Pretty much. Yeah, I'm gonna grab your nuts, and then you're gonna sit up there and not do anything about it. You go to a
right.
But I don't know if I should share this story. You know, one of the first. This was one of the stories that I heard of Martin Luther King as a kid. I think they used the story to try to push his narrative of desegregation and love among us. Y'all ever heard the story about when he was a kid?
About who?
It's a lot of background noise, so I couldn't really quite hear you.
Oh, okay. Well, it's not me. Oh, okay. Well, let's go. Well, anyway, y'all ever heard the story of the two white kids that he was friends with when he was a kid, and when he got a certain age, they couldn't play with him anymore because he was black and he was all heartbroken and shit.
Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah, I remember seeing that on two venues. I went to when I was in elementary school, and there was this movie, Paul Winfield starring as Martin Luther King. Anybody remember?
God, no.
Yeah, it was I think it was called King. They told that story. I just brought that up to point out that I don't know. It was just one of those. I guess it was kind of part of indoctrination. Do y'all believe so? Do y'all believe that it was part of like the start of the indoctrination and the whitewashing of his legacy?
Yeah, they're gonna whitewash his legacy in any way, shape, or form. You know, they don't talk because really at the end of his life, he started to make some changes and back away from the tap dance just a little bit. So you know, I really believe that ultimately he was going to make a 180. I'm sorry, I'm gonna say 360, but 180 and start going in a different direction because he sounded a little bit more militant towards the end of his life. So you know, once they got his ass up out of here, they could continue with his legacy and keep it with a whitewash mentality of, hey, you know, you got to stay dignified while you're getting beat. Hey, listen, Martin Luther King didn't want you to get beat. He may have been fucking prostitutes and tell them take this nigga dick, but hey, listen, you should listen to him and just take that ass whooping and just stand out in the cold and march.
Well, think about that. Think about it from their perspective. Of course, they want to do that because if you ever notice, you want to get a law or something. I tell everybody this. They say you want to make an omelet, you got to break some eggs. You want to get a law or anything change or spark a movement real fast. Innocent people have to get hurt. People don't understand that. Innocent people have to get hurt. You're not going to do that. You're not going to. Power is never just given to you. You got to go take it. And that's one thing that I did feel that towards the end of his life, he was changing and saying, hey, I'm not going to take as much shit as I was. And then knew, wait a minute, we got Malcolm X doing this already. And now think about it. If we get his following doing that too, imagine if Dr. King would have said before he got killed, said, fuck it. All right, niggas, now when they do like this is what we're going to do. We're going to go in there. Look, this person going to be dead. We're going to kill everybody. If these people come into the city, try to arrest them, we're going to kill them people. They don't want no type of war like that.
Look at the
powerful people want to pay for things to go away. They don't actually want to do any fighting, though. They just want to pay for the things to go away. And when it comes down to fighting and people actually taking a side, then all your money is outmoded because when people realize that something is wrong and they're not going to stand that for any longer, all the money in the world is not going to change enough of their minds.
Okay. All right. I got a question for the panel. How many assassination attempts were done on Martin Luther King?
I'm not sure. I mean, two come right to mind, but I'm pretty sure it had to be more than that.
Yeah, well, there were two. There were two things. This was the first, if I'm not mistaken. If I am, somebody can correct me down the road. Oh, you said this in this video. I'm human. So this is Izola Curry.
Yeah, it was two, right?
An inch away from his heart, something like that, or centimeter, something like that. Let me see. Let me look her up real quick. So, what do y'all know of Izola Curry? They tried to declare her crazy. I know that much.
I mean, she obviously got paid. You just, I mean, she tried to stab him, which is what white folks wanted her to do, and then they tried to defend her like she wasn't just a nigga committing a crime. And look when we're talking about.
Yeah, this happened at a Harlem book signing on the 20th of September of 1958. She stabbed him with a letter opener. Yeah, I just thought it was something that I just offhand mentioned. It was kind of crazy that that during those times that black people would attempt on black people. But
Listen, I don't believe that in no coincidences. I don't believe that this black woman with some mental issues was say, let me go to this book signing. I need to stab this man. I don't believe in no fucking coincidence. If anything, I believe these motherfuckers put some bugs in her room or was trying to put the bug in her ear. Hey, this will all go away if you go start to stab Martin Luther King.
Definitely.
You gotta
Well, not in
think.
the fact that they need a fall guy. I mean, you can find. Unfortunately, it could be anybody. You can always find somebody to do the dirty work. It's impossible for you to sit up here and say that. Well, just because the person's black, they wouldn't do it. You can always find an idiot out there to do something stupid. I mean, think about
Yeah.
it.
you know, this just I was just saying, coming from my mentality, it's just kind of disappointing every time you hear somebody black. Like, when I watch Malcolm X, Spike Lee's Malcolm X, when I seen black people, like black men putting bullets inside of them, I was, first thing I thought, man, this is kind of absurd. Us trying to do each other, but I guess. Um, okay, here's what happened to this woman. I'm gonna read it out. This is via Wikipedia. They said two psychiatrists reported that Curry had low intelligence and was in a severe state of insanity. In October 20th of that year, she was committed to the Matawai State Hospital for the terminally insane. Basically, she spent the rest of her life in custody of a mental hospital until her death. Well, her life ended at Jamaica Queens, New York nursing home where she, had resided. But she spent, after the stabbing, she had spent most of her life in mental health care. So I guess she was. So do y'all think she was crazy, or that was just something done to cover up what she really was about?
When
It
have
was crazy,
white
but
folks?
I don't think
Yeah.
that that had anything to do with why she was set up. I think she was probably a prime target because she was crazy. Who's gonna believe a crazy bitch?
Ugh.
Yeah, my thing is when do white folks set up stories, especially in those years, to
Yeah,
protect black folks from murder charges, attempted murder
right. Oh
charges?
yeah.
When
That
do
that.
why would they do that?
Yeah, you're right about that.
I'm saying there's all we can always factor what we don't know, but we should always factor that with what we actually do know.
Yeah, they don't come out running the cape to save us on things, especially back then.
Right. So, so do you think? Okay, this is one last question. Do you think that the right man or the wrong man was exalted? Now, through all your conversations, it's probably is a dumb question, but I'm going to ask it anyway, and then we're going to wrap it up, take a little break, and then we're going to come back. Um, Final thoughts on Martin Luther King, Roger.
I mean, my final thought is just that he's a guy that he's a guy that attempted to do something good. He went about it in the wrong way. As soon as he realized that it was wrong, they killed him. So obviously, a man that was trying to do good, you know what I'm saying? That's all I can say. He was a man that was trying to do good. But as soon as he figured out what move to make, white folks had to get at him. So to me, that's an expected outcome. If you look at the history, if you were sitting in front of the situation and you look at how things go, that's everybody should have seen it come.
Yeah, I agree. Sad. There were so many lives that were taken during that era that were actually leaders. So Martin Luther King was part of a trend, unfortunately.
Martin Luther King was just another father in the home. Fathers are leaders in general. People are always trying to look for some greater leader than their own father because they don't have fathers in the home. And a lot of women are uncomfortable with fathers in the home. Whenever you have fathers in the home, number one, that's your first leader. Then you go to the leaders outside the home. That may be a pastor if you go to church or whatever your situation is, or a teacher at school or whatever the case is. But the leader of your leader is always your father. Then
Definitely.
whoever he approves to also lead.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Cool. Thanks for that, Rod. Donnie, you're next.
I think MLK has some shiny ass motherfucking civil rights tap dancing shoes. I personally don't respect a man who calls himself the leader of a movement but will compromise it for sex. Period, point blank. That's not something I can co-sign. I think he did have some intention later on after the fact, and I won't take that away from the man. However, certain way you go about things, and if you come in, well, shit, really good intentions ain't never really done anything. It's a lot of bullshit that has occurred based on good intentions. It's a lot of shit that has gone real fucking sour based on good intentions. So he came out. His legacy be the dignified nigga who get your ass whipped and you turn the other cheek, and you go out here and march, and especially in the time where everybody was really putting some heat on these motherfuckers. His whole movement was trying to beg and plead with white people for civility. I can't co-sign that. So his name was cool, I guess. He had the MLK. Hey, good for him.
Well, he had MLK T-shirts or anything like that back in the day, but
should have branded it. By the way, his daughter is was it his daughter? His niece is a tap dancing fool herself. Go ahead.
I think his kids are kind of like. I think his kids are kind of like they're kind of jaded anyway. I think they was arguing over who gets to keep his Bible a few years ago. If I'm not mistaken.
I don't know why they trying to keep that motherfucking Bible and keep the hoes away.
So didn't keep them devils away, huh?
Yeah, and fun fact about that Bible, the Obama's second term, he swore in. Dick Gregory wasn't very pleased about it.
Hell no, Dick Gregory was an old ass militant motherfucking man. That nigga, Dick Gregory was a monster.
Yeah, Dick Gregory was a monster. Rest in peace. Him and Dr. Seavey. But anyway, Judge, final thoughts on MLK?
Okay, so he was a man. I think he started off. He started off. He had a plan, and he started off on a movement where he was trying to do something right. He may have not executed it or always acted how he should have, but I mean, anybody in that position, I give him credit. Like I'm not gonna come down on him because he was messing with white women. I mean, what a person does in his personal time, I really don't give a shit about, long as it's not affecting how hard you go in the paint when it's time to, get on the court. And I believe, where some people, but some people get on them because of that. I don't give a damn, what you do in the bedroom. I ain't even gonna lie. He could have snorted so much coke and fucked so many white women. It still didn't bother me. As long as when it was time to get on the court, he was, able to do what he was supposed to do, and he did it to the best of his abilities.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Thank you, Judge Ray. I respected him as a strategist and what he tried to present himself as, and the benefits that he brought to the struggle. Because I'm not going to even lie to you, it taught my parents and my grandparents and the people they were surrounded by, with courage. They didn't exactly, swing and shoot and fight and kick and everything. But one could argue that Martin Luther King's strategy kept more people alive than it killed, even though people were still getting killed. And every time I think about that kind of stuff, I get a little, yeah. But anyway, like I said, I know the man meant well. I try not to get caught up so much in what was speculated about him or what he might have done in his personal life, because I really honestly believe that that contributes to the trend of black man hate, which is, not playing the victim, but you got to admit that there is, in order to be a black man public figure, you have to be 110% spotless to not get any scrutiny. And for the position that Martin Luther King put himself in, he was going to be scrutinized anyway. I do appreciate what he tried to do, but the long-term effects, I really wasn't satisfied with. The only thing that I will say is us as black people, whatever he tried to do, whatever his intentions was, we should have tried to continue it instead of abandoning it for other things. And, dozens of conversations have been had about that. And we're probably going to have some conversations about that too. But, Martin Luther King, like I said in the beginning, like it or not, he's the most iconic leader in black history. You may have other people, I understand, have their favorites, but as far as media perception and history tells it, it's Martin Luther King. Until us as blacks, if we're dissatisfied, we can just change it. But we got to start being proactive about shit. So anyway, Martin Luther King is a historical figure. That's all. That's all. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna take a break and we're gonna come back and we're gonna cover Terry Crews and all the things that are going on with that right now. So guys, are y'all up for that or what's going on?
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay, so just use the bathroom, whatever, and then we'll be back in about, I'd say 5-10 minutes.
We'll have to go take
Word
a crap
to
on
your
white
mother,
supremacy.
Let's see. All right.
Well, he's gonna go ahead and wipe his behind with his MLK toilet paper.
Oh boy.
I'm gonna use the photos of women he slept with to wipe him on
Oh man.
Hilarious. All right, so we gotta find something to play. It's gonna be break time, and we'll come back and we'll discuss Terry Crews and where he might have fallen short and all the. My estimation is a low social justice BS, but let's see. What am I going to say?
Okay, and for the folks who gonna listen to this later, if you have an issue because we're taking a break and it's too long for you, just get to where we start talking again. Skip ahead. Just skip ahead.
Or why don't you can take the show offline and just start another one while we're still in the same.
I thought you was going. Yeah, I thought you was
I
going.
thought that's what you're gonna do, and then we'll just talk while. Right. Just end it there.
Okay, well, that's what I'll do then.
Okay, well, y'all won't even have to skip ahead.
Nah, see.
All right. Well, we'll be back for part 2 of this. Part 2 will be Terry Crews. Look for the video. All right.
All right.